So now let's go over discrete versus continuous. So quantitative variables are so important to us, you can imagine, because they're numerical and you can perform meaningful calculations. Calculations, by the way, which you'll be doing for basically the rest of the course. So they're a big deal. So if that's the case and quantitative variables are so important, then we further refine them into discrete and continuous. Discrete variables are quantitative that have either a finite number of possible values or a countable number of possible values. Now, the term countable means that the values result from counting, such as 1, 2, 3, so on. But keep in mind that countable doesn't mean that it has to be finite. The number of stars in the sky, right? It's infinite, sort of, right? Or the number of molecules in your table. I mean, it's so unbelievably large. And infinity could be in there. And that's okay as long as they're counting. Discrete variable cannot take on every possible value between any two possible values. So in other words, it can't be it can't have decimal places. Let's put it that way. So you can't have 1.23564521891 blah blah blah. And if you could just get a more fine-tuned measuring device, you could count more. No, no, no. Discrete is counting, and continuous is a quantitative variable that has an infinite number of possible values that are not countable. It's sort of like if you think of it this way. If you think, hold on, let me grab a picture real quick. All right. Let's think about it on the terms of the number line. So every single integer, if you start at 0 and just keep going, you're going to have infinity, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, right? Blah, blah, blah. That's infinite, but it's discrete because it's this value 0, then this value 1, then this value 2, and it hops. And you can't have everything in between. It's not possible, right? So the integers are infinite, but they're countable because you go 1, 2, 3, 4, blah. So that would be discrete. Continuous means that it's on this continuum between. So like, for example, any number is possible, any number at all, if you could just measure it fine enough. Like, what's the distance from here, to this spot right here? Well, it's 5.6. Well, let's get better measuring. It's 5.632, better measuring. 5.63248, 5.63248 point, right? You getting my drift? So you could get more and more and more and more fine-tuned if you just had a better measuring device. That's continuous. It literally means that if you were going to shade in the possibilities, you'd be shading sections of the number line. Discrete means you only shade dots on the number line. That's it. One dot, another dot, another dot, another dot, and that's it. And you have to hop between. Whereas continuous means it could take on anything in there. Okay, that's a little algebra way of thinking of it. All right, so what about the length of a strand of hair? Well, if you measure the length of your hair, that's continuous, right? A ruler is essentially a number line. A ruler is just a glorified number line with different units on it. But the number of hairs on your head you would count. 1 hair, 2 hair, 3 hairs, 4 hairs. That's discrete. Number of time your internet service goes down in the next 30 days. That's discrete. It goes down once. It goes down twice. But how much time? Like if you took a stopwatch out every time it goes down and measured the time in seconds, in milliseconds, in nanoseconds, that's continuous, right? Your shoe size is discrete. You're either a shoe size 6 or a 7 or an 8. Technically, you can do halves there. 6, 6.5, 7, 7.5, 8, 8.5. And I know all my foreign listeners are wondering what the heck you're talking about. Well, that's how shoe sizes work in the US. In different countries, it's 42, 43, 44, and so on. But the length of your foot, if you measured it from end to end, that would be centimeters. That's a measuring tape. That's continuous, right? You're measuring anything you measure in science class, right? All right, so the age of every dog in a kennel would be continuous. The age of every dog rounded to the nearest year. Well, okay, well, once you start rounding and making it so that you can't have my dog is, 7.236 years old, that's discrete. In general, anything that's measured, anything that would be measured in science class, like stopwatch time, length, height, weight, density, gravity, gravitational pull, I don't know, buoyancy, anything like that, that's measured, that's continuous. And everything you count, that's discrete.